Hi folks, welcome to Truck King and our 2024 Truck of the Year series. We are going over all of the major redesigned pickup trucks that we drove in the last year, and we're going to name our Truck of the Year for 2024. And right now, in this video, we're going to discuss the GMC Canyon. The series will consist of 6 videos, and that's because we have 5 contenders for Truck of the Year this year. They are the GMC Canyon, the Chevy Colorado, the Chevy Silverado Heavy Duty, the Ford Super Duty, and then finally the Toyota Tacoma. And then in the final video, which we will release in the first week of January, we will tell you which one is our 2024 Truck of the Year. But for now, let's talk about the new GMC Canyon. And we got the chance to sample a ton of Canyons in a lot of different locations over the past year. We went on the first drive out in North Carolina, where we got some really nice twisty, windy roads to put the truck onto. We had a GMC Canyon Denali here at home. And then hopefully you guys saw here on the channel, we did a whole video series with the Canyon AT4X exploring ghost towns up here in Sudbury, Ontario. So that was a lot of fun, but more importantly, like I said, we really put this Canyon in every situation possible. Heck, Dad even went to Montana to take it off-road, right?
We got a lot of seat time in that Canyon. And the important thing here is that we had an AT4, which was a decent off-roader, but this year we got the AT4X. And the X is what kicks it up that notch to a serious mid-size off-roader.
Exactly. So now let's go over all of our thoughts. Let's start by talking about the powertrain. And for the new generation Canyon, there's only one engine. That's the small 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Like a lot of other brands are doing, Dad, they dumped the V6. Sadly, they dumped the diesel, and now we're only getting Turbo 4. In the Canyon, you can actually only get the high output model as well. In the Colorado, there's different powers available, but here in the Canyon, you're just getting that high output model. So yeah, we can talk about this small Turbo 4. I'll tell you my thoughts right away. I think that the power is definitely there, and at the top end, when it's screaming away, it's more powerful than the V6, and it does feel like it. My issue with this turbo engine was that, as I just said, it felt like you really did have to dig into it. It feels like you have to get close to redline to really feel that power come on, which is not necessarily what you want out of a turbo engine. You want to feel that low-end torque when the turbo kicks in. And on-road, we didn't have any issues with the engine, but it was off-road where that low-end torque, or sort of the lack of, did make itself apparent. So I will say I didn't love the change from V6 to this new Turbo 4 in the GM midsize twins, just for that reason alone. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Dan?
I will say this, that whereas most guys who run off-road know that you're running in 4 high most of the time, you really sort of eyeball something if you're going to go into 4 low because you expect to have problems with it. And the GM guys looked at their 4 low and they rejigged it so it actually will run into higher revs, higher speed than what I'm used to in a typical 4 low transfer case setup. And that to me speaks to the fact that they realized that the low-end torque was going to be lacking off-road in a high 4 situation. So quite honestly, we did a lot of off-road, and I spent most of my time in 4 low, which works really, really well. It's just, you got to adjust your mind to it. Because like I said, in previous generations of trucks, not just GM, but everybody, 4 low was truly the donkey gear that you got into when you figured you really, really had to twist those wheels.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. We found ourselves needing 4 low a lot more often in this truck. So overall, this powertrain redesign, I feel like a lot of the times a new engine comes out and it does feel better than the last one, but this is one where me personally, over the last 10 years of driving trucks, I got in and went, I kind of like the old V6 better. And again, that's just my thoughts on it, but of all the trucks we drove this year, this is not one of my favorite powertrains. Maybe we'll leave it at that.
And I think you're right. And honestly, time will tell. And the only other thing I got to throw in is I get it, in as much as for simplicity of production, one powertrain that you can crank up or crank down with your ECU is easier to deal with than multiples.
Sure, and one other note on that, this powertrain also goes into the half tons. So yes, in terms of economies of scale, they're maximizing it with this engine. So it makes sense from GM's perspective, but from the customer's perspective, yeah, we get less choice now.
Hey everybody, listen, you've heard us talk about the Giddy Ups here on the Truck King channel. So this is a new set that I've got in my truck. Now these, unlike the synthetic simple ones that we sold out of last summer, are handmade, all leather, hand stitched. These are unique, these are one of a kind, all made by John out there in Alberta, Canada. And if you're interested in these for your truck, all you have to do is reach out to us at hey@truckking.ca, that's HEY at truckking.ca. We'll send you photos, prices, and delivery information. Do that soon.
Let's look inside this GMC Canyon now. So these trucks were definitely getting old, and the interior showed that. A lot of black, hard plastics in the last gen. And then the one that really stands out is the Canyon Denali. In the last generation, they introduced Denali later on after it launched, and it didn't feel like much. It felt like a bit of stitching and a couple of stickers, maybe a piece of chrome here or there. It didn't feel like a truly luxurious truck. For the new gen, that has entirely changed. We got an all-new interior, really nice material choices. The Denali has that nice wood in it, beautiful stitching. And again, this is something we're seeing everywhere in trucks. It's just the varying materials. You kind of have a chrome on top of wood, on top of leather, and it all mixes together nice. And of course, that's just the Denali. You also get the AT4X with that shocking kind of white interior with the red stitching. That thing is eye-catching. It really is gorgeous. I will say, white interior in an off-road truck, not the best choice. In fact, the interior that we had for just 1 week on our Sudbury adventures, it was already starting to get dirty on some of the white.
Yeah, so that's what Armor All's for.
Fair enough.
Just clean it.
I don't love that, but besides that, the interior here is absolutely gorgeous, and I think they nailed it. And I'll also say, Dad, rear seat space in these trucks is quite good for the midsize segment.
Very decent. I mean, we had an off-road day where we had 4 of us in that truck.
Right.
With big, heavy, bulky coats, equipment, camera gear, and you know what? Up and down the mountain, it was okay.
Yeah, more so than other midsizers.
Yeah,
it definitely feels
without
spacious.
a doubt.
So yeah, interior-wise, GMC stepped it up. And yeah, they want to sit above Chevy in terms of luxury, and I feel like with Canyon Denali, they definitely do that.
Well, they're asking for a premium price, but now you get a premium product.
Exactly. Let's talk about the fun stuff now, off-roading. And yes, the off-road ability of these trucks was made way better with this new generation. So when it comes to the Canyon specifically, you used to be able to get the Colorado ZR2 or ZR2 for my Canadians, but you could never get the equivalent from GMC. Well, that has changed. Now we have AT4X. You get everything on the GMC that you get on the Chevy, so they're both just as good off-road. And these are great off-road packages. First of all, front and rear lockers. The front locker is a big deal. There's not a lot of other trucks that have a locker in the front, but GM goes there and offers it right off the bat. You get the Multimatic suspension. It's not the active system that a lot of other brands have turned to, but it's still a really smart suspension system for offering best of both worlds. And then maybe showing their true commitment to off-roading are the AEV packages. You get the AEV package on your Canyon, and it's absolutely covered up underneath. Yeah, when it comes to off-roading, these are some of, if not the best, mid-sized trucks on the market for off-roading. And with the Canyon, again, specifically, you're getting luxury and off-road. It's such a nice interior, but it's so capable. 35-inch tires with the AEV package. Yeah, I think the off-road capability almost sets these trucks apart. It really is quite good on the Canyon and Colorado.
I really appreciated the off-road modes that they offer, but most importantly, within each one of those modes, you've got multiple screens with all kinds of information, and frankly, almost like driving tips. So if you're new to this world, as you scroll through your modes, it's kind of telling you what you can do and what to expect, you know, and that's good too, because we're not all experts right out of the cradle. So a nice upgrade.
Yep, and last feature I'll mention for off-roading, because I really do like it, the underbody camera. This is the only truck in the industry that's got a camera stuck underneath it, but we were rock crawling, and it is really helpful to see where the rocks are in relation to your tires. So there's just yet another feature for off-roading that I think GM was really paying attention to on the Canyon.
Well, plus if you're arguing about did you run over that raccoon, now you can see him.
When it comes to towing with this GMC Canyon, we actually didn't get the chance to put a big trailer behind here, but I think it's worth mentioning the tow rating for 2024 didn't change. It stays at 7,700 pounds. That's the max tow rating. So even though we lost the V6, that doesn't matter. You're still getting that 7,700 pound tow rating. And I think the one point I want to make here is I'm happy to see that number stay the same, but no one in midsiders is pushing higher, and that's actually okay. I'm happy to see that the towing wars are not going on in this segment because, yeah, 7,700 pounds is enough. Anything over 8,000, you want to consider a half ton, and then 10,000, maybe an even bigger truck. So I just want to make that point that these are 7,700 pounds is a nice number in this segment.
Yeah, I mean, reality is $5,000 for a midsizer that's plenty.
Fair enough. Looking at this redesign for 2024, GMC definitely cranked up the luxury, the technology, and the off-road ability of its midsize truck. Not to mention a whole new look, which is even kind of tougher and more aggressive than before. I think it's a nice looking truck. So they focused on the things people need. Now, of course, the price went up as well. And yes, the Canyon is priced above the Colorado. So if you're coming over to GMC these days, you better be willing to pay. But yes, I do feel like more so than before, you're actually getting a level of luxury and content that actually meets the price tag. What do you think, Dan?
Just in general, I'm happy that Denali is back where it belongs, which is at the top of the pile. And when you crack open the door, you're actually looking at an interior that looks like it should be a Denali,
Sure.
which it didn't for a few years. Past that, one of the things I can say about the Canyon overall is when we were heading up north with this thing, we spent hours on the highway. The thing is comfortable, it's quiet, and it's great for 4 people. And then you get right to where you're going, and you take it immediately off-road and bash it through the bush, and you have a great time doing it. And then you get back out on the road, and it's still quiet and comfortable and easy to drive. I mean, I don't think you can do any better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, for an off-road adventure platform, the Canyon is better than it ever has been, no doubt about that. So yeah, I think we're coming to the end of this one. Now, of course, this is just one of all of the 5 videos we're going to put out, so make sure you watch all of those, and then come back here the first week of January when we tell you whether or not the Canyon is our 2024 truck of the year. For now, please go in the comments because we need to hear your thoughts. Let us know what you think of the Canyon, everything we did with the truck. Hey, did you watch the Sudbury series? If you didn't, go check out the Ghost Town tour right now because we had some real fun making those videos. And then yeah, as always, while you're down below, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that join button to become a member of Truck King, and then come right back here to the channel to find out what our 2024 truck of the year is. Thanks.
Hit the notification bell.